Hey, friends, welcome to Private Club Radio live here Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. The great thing about these live sessions is you can get questions answered in real time. So, we're going to be talking membership sales, and marketing topics today. So, if you have any questions today, either during the live broadcast or even after the broadcast, be sure to pop those in the chat for us. We'll try to get them answered for you here live, or we'll leave a comment back for you. But today we've got a really fun guest joining us from Pensacola, Florida, which I'm in Tampa, Florida. He's in Pensacola, but I didn't even know this up until a few years ago, that Florida actually has different time zones. So we're not even on the same time zone. So it's a little earlier where Mr. Jim Story of Pensacola Country Club is, but he's joining us here. We woke him up out of bed early to join us here on Private Club Radio Live. First, I'm going to bring on Brian Friedrichs of Capstone Hospitality, who is a newlywed. Brian, congratulations, man, from everyone here at Private Club Radio.
You. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, so you went out to California. Tell us about the wedding real quick for us.
Yeah, we did. It was great. We had to cut the list a little short because of COVID restrictions, but no one caught COVID, so that was great. And then we went out to California. We did Half Moon Bay, then we did Napa, and then we did Lake Tahoe. So kind of a trio of different climates there in California. It was a blast. We love California, so. That was fantastic. Great to get out there.
Well, big congrats.
Thank you.
From Private Club Radio.
Appreciate it.
Man. Yeah.
I'm finally an honest man.
Yeah. So, how are things been in general in terms of golf and membership sales, and from what you can see in the clubs you're working with right now?
Yeah, it's going incredibly well. Our numbers are much larger than they were even same time last year. And this is kind of when I call it the COVID membership boom started last year, and it's carried, in really, really strong. So we're seeing really, really good things. The market's still very hot. Who knows how long it's going to stay that way? So I think it's imperative that clubs really take advantage of this opportunity they have right now, and make sure they're focusing on sales, focusing on lead generation, making sure they're taking people through the appropriate experience when it comes to sales. Because again, you don't know how long this is going to last, and you certainly want to, build up that bank for when there is a downturn.
Yeah.
Hopefully that won't happen anytime soon, but you never know.
Yeah, well, very well said. I mean, 2021, I think we've still got the remnants of the big boom, like you said, from last year. But you do never know. And I would say this is probably the time to strike while the iron's still hot, for sure.
Yeah.
So I know you guys have been working with Pensacola Country Club. If you could just let us know a little bit about how you guys got involved there, and some of the successes you've had over there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got introduced to Pensacola Country Club through Andy Miller. He was the head of membership for Club Corp for a while. Now he's with Heritage Golf Group. He knew a member there, introduced us through there. They were looking to grow their membership in a pretty big way. And they knew that they needed a little bit more of a focused approach to sales to get those numbers up. So I got introduced to Jim. We went over there, we met, spoke with the board, seemed like it was going to be a good fit. So we engaged with them, and we've seen some massive success with them. We're inching closer to their full member, get them on a wait list.
Nice.
So I'm confident we'll get them there probably in the next year or so. Yeah. It's been great working with the team there. Jim and his team are fantastic. The board is fantastic. And it's really been a nice collaborative effort. And I think it's a really, really good case study for, hey, when you pair, a great GM, great staff, and a great board with a company that is really hyper-focused on sales, and you team up, you can see some big results. So I'm excited for Jim to share his experience with us, and hopefully he can help some clubs out there too.
All right. Well, we're going to bring Jim in right now. Jim, welcome to Private Club Radio, man. How are you today?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Doing well. So I'd love to get your perspective. It's probably a big step in any club's, structure to bring in an outside company to help with the sales and marketing. What was that process like at Pensacola Country Club, and what made you take that leap?
It was really very difficult at the beginning. We have, Pensacola Country Club is the oldest club in Florida in 1902. It was really hard to get over the traditions, and coming from, I've been in clubs for 40 years, and this was a brand new model for me. I had to wrap my mind around it first, and then take it on to the board from there. And I was very impressed with Brian, his team, and the entire approach. We had started with a goal a couple years ago. We were mired in the 450 to 470 members, take in 40, lose 40. We had the traditional, the membership director that was also in communication. So it was just really flipping the model upside down. And it took a couple meetings, and we got the executive committee on board first. And once we had them sold, the senior staff sold, the executive committee sold, the board came along pretty quickly. And really the big key is the membership embraced it.
Sure. Yeah, you got to have that buy-in, or else you've got nothing, I would think. So why did you choose Capstone over, there's other options out there. Why did you go with them?
Because I felt like they had a new approach. I felt that they were not only dedicated to bringing in and really selling memberships, but they also bought into what I believe is definitely true. As you bring in members, the value goes up. So the initiation fee needs to go up. It wasn't a fire sale. It wasn't cut, and just bring in everybody you can. So we've actually raised initiation fees twice.
Wow.
In the last year, and in the last 14 months, we got another increase coming up within the next 30 to 60 days. So we're huge. 2 years ahead of what our projections were.
That's amazing. And I always think that's a great sign that you're doing the right thing. I'm sure the membership likes the sound of that. I think there's always a fear, right, when you're bringing in a real marketing program or a sales, program to a club, that they're going to come in, run a bunch of discounts, and bring the wrong type of people through the door, right? So tell me about your experience. It sounds like that wasn't the case.
No, it wasn't the case at all. And again, that was one of our biggest concerns. But Brian and they brought Chad Sipka on board as our membership director. He spent a lot of time with our senior staff early on. We had conversations with the executive committee, myself, and leadership at Capstone every 2 weeks with how are we doing, where are we going, what are we seeing. Also Chad makes it very, very clear when new members are going through the process to meet all of the senior staff. So the membership practices, I would say, are stronger today than they were prior to Capstone coming on board. We're able to be more selective. So I'm very, very pleased and impressed with the people that they've brought to the table.
Yeah, it's so important. Sometimes marketing could bring in a bunch of people, maybe the wrong people, and they're out the door in a year, and you're worse off than when you started. But again, it sounds like that wasn't the case for you, which is awesome to hear. So if you could tell us a little bit more about the types of programs you run, because I know a lot of our listeners and a lot of folks that I talk to in the industry, they're always worried that if they do some sort of sales push or they're doing marketing, that they're gonna maybe get in trouble with their 501c7 structure or something like that. Can you help put some of those fears to bed for folks, Jim?
Oh, sure. Yeah. We got kind of a double whammy here at Pensacola Country Club also, because 7 months ago, we got hit by Hurricane Sally and all of our dining facilities were destroyed.
Wow.
So, we've got COVID, we've got Sally, we've got Capstone in. And what we were able to do is bring in tents and go a little more mobile, a little more, nimble. But we continue with Capstone to strengthen our membership practices. So you're not exposing it. You're not blanket emails. You're not, going out and doing just open, come see us. We did it through programming. We added, a wine club. We expanded dining from 2 nights a week to 6 nights a week. We added, more child activities. We went into allowed the private schools and other schools to come in and do some of their fundraising, sponsored by members here. So we followed all of the 501c7 rules. And matter of fact, having recently been through an IRS audit, we had a pretty good idea of what we needed to do. We had that 2 years ago. So we had a pretty good idea of what we needed to do. And Capstone, they listened. They're partners. we look at Chad. We had our member guest this past weekend. Chad was right in the middle of it, helping with, the beverage stations and the food stations. He's a part of the team, and that's the relationship we have with Capstone. It's not a sales relationship. It is a true relationship between the two companies.
That's so nice to have. Yeah, it's got to seem seamless too for the members. That people part of the club are really going to take care of them once they're inside, which is fantastic. So, what were some of the programs that you guys? You mentioned a few of them there. So it sounded like it wasn't just a marketing push, but it was really a whole program or a whole change that was brought to the club, having some of these programs. Can you tell us more about that, and maybe give some folks out there some ideas about what worked for you, what might work for them?
Sure. We started with the wine club, where we've got a group that really helps us select the wines. We have monthly wine tastings and wine dinners. We started the Op 36, which originally was for our ladies golf program, but now is expanded to. We have part of it now is courts to course, which is we've approached our tennis ladies, our tennis teams to come take Op 36 to learn golf. We've got the kids programs have been expanded. So, a dinner and a movie, it's not new stuff, dinner and a movie when their family's coming out. Friday nights are chop nights, so you get specialty steaks in. It was just anything that we could think to do. Cattlemen's Club. During COVID, we set up a commissary, where the members could come get whatever they needed to get.
Nice.
The wine, in Florida, we've got a little more flexibility here in Florida, so we're allowed to sell wine and drinks, along with dinners to go. So we expanded that program dramatically. So, and we would always sit down with Chad and say, okay, what do you have from a membership perspective? Is there somebody on the fence that is looking for a program or looking for something that we can provide? One of the things we heard was it was difficult finding babysitters here in Pensacola. So we're working with the American Red Cross and some other groups on training our teenagers to be part of a babysitting club where the members can call another member that lives in their area. So it's just anything we hear, we try it, throw it up the flagpole, and see what works. So,
That's
and
great.
our members have been very receptive of it.
That's fantastic, and it's nice to have a team like who come bring some of those fresh ideas. I think that's another benefit in my mind of working with someone who's maybe outside of the club sometimes, just because they're going to have seen what works in other places and have ideas from all over the country. It sounds like you put some of those to good use right there, Jim. So what kind of position are you guys in now? Now you said you're getting closer to maybe capping membership, and what does the future hold now that you've gone through this?
Well, it's been a great process. We started the program a couple years ago with strategic planning, and it was called Project 600. And we were hoping to get to 600 members, total members, within a 5 to 6 year period. We were at 470 when we started the program. We're at 574 today.
Wow,
So,
you're almost there.
So we've taken in a couple hundred members over the last two years that Capstone's been here. Your normal attrition, because we do have quite a few members that have been here, third generation members that unfortunately are passing on or they're moving into assisted living. But 574 is a great place to be at, and 3 years ahead of our projections. So we have changed now with our strategic plan. What can we now add? Can we go ahead and put pickleball in place? Can we go ahead and expand outdoor dining? All of the things that we were looking at 6 to 7 years from now have been moved forward by 5 years. So it's an exciting place to be. And, one of the things that we were also concerned about is if we were aggressive in the member sales, was it going to come at the expense of our regular members?
Sure.
We're going to see that growth in the, just the social and dining categories of things of that nature, but that's not been the case. We've had 28% growth in our regular membership and 28% growth in other categories. So,
wow.
you
And
sit there
attrition
and,
has remained pretty much the same, sounds like.
yeah, attrition pretty much remained the same. So we're actually, we're looking at Project 600. We ended up with 400 full member equivalents, and we're, I think, 12 short of that right now. So again, wow. we're 3 to 5 years ahead of where we expected to be at this point.
Oh man, that sounds awesome. Now, poor Brian, he sounds like he's going to work himself right out of a job. Let me bring Brian back on. So, Brian, any other advice you'd give to people that are listening to this of things that could work for them, or ways that you guys come in, and just tell us how you work with clubs? I got you muted. Hold on, that's my fault. I muted you.
No worries.
You're unmuted now.
Yeah, no, I think Jim said it very, very well. The impact of a good sales campaign done the appropriate way, getting high quality members in, raising initiation fees as you start to squeeze the market a little bit, a diverse range of, marketing and lead generator ideas paired with, hyper good service. And I really have to credit Jim and his team there. Sometimes we'll work with clubs and we'll bring in, a ton of new members, and operations has a challenging time keeping up with that. And Jim and the team there have done such a great job with it. And that really gives us leverage in the marketplace as well. Whenever we're able to build off all these programs, get new people in the door, get more referrals, get new, different lead gens going, and the club can support it. So it's really been a great partnership with them, working with Jim very closely, working with the board very closely. And, I think that's the important thing is get focused on sales, work with your board, work with your GM, bring in a good salesperson that is committed to the club long-term, have goals that you set so that, you can hit them. And like Jim said, it can really transform your club. And now they're able to look at things and say, hey, what are we doing next? Can we add pickleball? Like you said, can we do these things? And without a very hyper focused approach to sales paired with great strategy from operational leaders, you're not going to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. One more question, I guess, along those lines for you, Jim. How did you guys need to revamp things in terms of your onboarding? And we know that when new members come in, that's when they're most likely to refer around, as Brian mentioned. So did you guys come up with new systems for all these new members that came through, and how to really get them acquainted and sort of woven into the fabric of the club?
That was particularly difficult with Hurricane Sally and everything else we were dealing with. And this was one thing that I really enjoy about working with Chad. We had a formal orientation program previous to Capstone coming in, where the new members got to listen to me and the department managers talk about, well, to make a tea time, well, we don't have tea times, but to make a dinner reservation, you do this, 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 and this. Well, they don't want that. What they want is they want to be able to be integrated into the membership as quickly as possible. You have to get them the first 3 years or you're not going to get them at all. So right. What we do, like Chop Nights, we have another thing we do, which is a concert series with some singer-songwriters coming out of the Nashville area and around. It's really big here in Pensacola area.
Nice.
Where we'll have a cocktail party with the new members and the committee members, before the concert starts. So they get an hour and a half of time together. When they make reservations, we make sure we look at the reservation sheet. We'll look and say, okay, we've got this board member or this committee member has dinner. We'll contact them and say, hey, we've got these new members coming in. Do you mind if they join you? We've got trivia night. Can these new members join you on trivia night? So cool. It's been a really, we spend at least a half hour every weekly staff meeting just talking about ways to integrate new members into the fold. So, it's just having the commitment. The hardest part, and Chad, I invite Chad to every one of our board meetings. He's the first person on the agenda. And that's one of the things we also talk about, Chad. And I applaud Chad. You know, at a recent board meeting, he said, you know, you guys are not doing enough to integrate new members. And,
Right.
you know, it takes a strong leader to stand up and say, call out the board of directors and say,
Totally.
you know, you guys, because he asked me beforehand, he said, do you have a problem if I say this? And I said, not at all. I'll be there to back you up. And sometimes you have to let the board know that it's their club. They're the most important piece of this whole process. If we drop that piece of the process, long-term stability won't be there. So our sustainability won't be there.
Well, that's golden advice there, though. I love what you said about, you know, notifying people that, you know, that could maybe join them for dinner for trivia night. I hope folks are listening to that one, because that's a wonderful tip for how to get people woven in. I think that's such an important thing. Those first 30, 60, 90 days of membership, that you make the friends, you make the connections, that you get the experiences that you hope to get when you signed up. But Jim, I really appreciate your time, sir. Brian, if folks want to reach out to Capstone, just learn more, have a conversation, and see if it's a good fit, how do they do that, man?
Yeah, pretty easy. Give me a call. My cell is 561-445-7448. Or you can go to our website, which is www.capstone-hospitality.com, or just do a Google search of us. We'll pop right up. Would love to have a conversation with you, give you a few tips, and see if it might be a good fit.
Guys, I love it. I enjoyed the chat with you. I picked up some new things myself, so that's why I love doing these interviews. You never know what's going to come out of it. Jim, thanks so much for your time. Brian, thank you again.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Jim. Yep, we'll talk to y'all later.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. And thanks to all you guys who are tuning in here on Tuesday morning, spending a little time with us. Dave Bisbee, I saw you there, so thank you, coming from Scottsdale, Arizona. Folks, lots of fun things happening in the industry. If you've got an interesting story, if you've got something that you want to share with us, please let me know. My direct email, gabe@privateclubagency.com. I'd love to hear from you. If you've got a topic or an interview you'd like to hear on this show, I'd love to showcase some fine folks doing some amazing things in this industry. Just on a personal note, I know a lot of people are wondering what I've been up to. I've been really focusing on YouTube, our channel. You can see the stats behind us, but just hit 1 million views, which was a big kind of milestone that we hit on the YouTube channel. So if your members are into golf travel, and golf technology, I'd love it if you passed along the Let's Play Through show. Let's Play Through with a U. That would be a big favor to me as we hope to grow this bigger and better in 2021. But I appreciate all the support of you folks here on Private Club Radio, and I can't wait to catch you back here next Tuesday. Until then, here's to your membership success.